there, your American Narrowboater with vlog number 8. Right now it's July the 5th and I'm in Crystal Beach, Florida. We're outside right now. It's approaching 90 degrees. It's supposed to get up close to 100 today. And of course the humidity is like the inside of a sauna bath. That's one of the bad parts about living in Florida. Of course, in the winter, we love it because we got this nice, warm, temperate weather. But in the summer, it could be a scorcher. And for that reason, my wife and my family, we normally leave Florida in the summertime and take our vacation, sometimes abroad, sometimes here in the States. Well, in 2019, we decided to go back to what we love the most, which was narrowboating in England. But unfortunately, COVID happened. We had even planned to buy a used canal boat because we saw ourselves going back to England on a retirement basis, my wife and I, and living there for 5-6 months a year, and then coming back to Florida when it gets cold. But COVID put an end to it, and COVID put an end to it again this year. Now, I know they say that in 2 weeks' time, according to this morning's news, they hope to remove most of the restrictions in the UK. But, you know, we've got the Delta variant and all these other things, and it's just not safe. It's just not a smart idea to go to England this year, which means that's 2 years. 2 years without narrowboating. And to stay close to this thing, you know, my wife and I, we watch the vlogs, and we watch a lot of narrowboat vlogs because it instills in us that narrowboat feeling that we love so much. We even, you know, in my case, I even got into vlogging back just because it reminds me of what this lifestyle is that we want to get back to. Now, I can't buy a boat unseen, so I can't buy a used boat. But we've been thinking now, why don't we try to build a boat? Now, we reached out to about a dozen builders, and they were all very professional. I'd say at least 9-10 of them responded, some didn't. And the responses were really wonderful. Some said, look, we're so booked, we can't touch you until 2023. One said 2024. So it's backed up. And it doesn't. There was one guy that said we can give you a slot in February. Another person said call and we'll see what we can do. But it doesn't look like that's a viable alternative. So all we got to do is dream, and that's what this video is about. We're going to talk about the American Narrowboater's dream narrowboat design. Let's talk first about what is a narrowboat. Let's face it, it's a long steel tube. So we're going to start there on what do we want to see about this long steel tube. They can be anywhere from 6 foot 4 inches, 6 foot 10 inches wide, and over 70 feet long. Now the longer your boat, the less of the network that you can travel. So we're going to keep our boat down around 57, 58 feet. That allows us to go almost anywhere we want to go. In the bow, there's different kinds of bows. The bows are josher bows, standard bows, tug bows. Here's a couple that we're going to talk about that I pulled up. Here's just 2 or 3 of them. Sterns. Sterns. You know, there's 3 basic kinds of sterns. The first is what they call the traditional stern, and there's a lot of vlogs out there. Best, by the way, I find is from Wilton Marina, and they talk about the different types of bows and sterns. But the traditional stern is what was on the original narrowboats that were used to ply the canals for the last 200 years. Basically, it's leaving the maximum amount of room for the cargo and for the passengers, and the least amount of room for the person actually steering the boat. The big disadvantage is I find it's kind of a false savings because the engine now is inside the boat. So you're still losing cargo space to the engine. Plus, it gives you no room for company, or very little room relative for company while you're back there steering the boat. And my wife likes to join me when I run the boat. The next kind of stern is the SemiTread. Yes, it does have a shorter area for the person who's driving the boat or steering the boat to handle the tiller, but it does provide additional seating for passengers and people that want to sit back with him or her while they're driving. The motor is in the same place basically as a trad, but it's under the deck, and normally it's down between the sides where the people sit. It's easier to get to than in a trad, but still, it's not as easy as in a full cruiser stern that we'll talk about in a minute. Now, I do want to give you one exception. People that do a trad stern, some of them, their motors are beautiful pieces of work. They're almost pieces of art. And they put these in places toward the back of the boat, and they're in places almost of honor. They'll have hatches open so that as they're up the cut, they want people to see this. And people like me, we love seeing it. It's really a beautiful sight. But to me, as an American, I want comfort, and I want the maximum amount of room inside for myself and my guests, because I love to bring people along when I narrowboat. So for me, the best kind of stern is a cruiser stern. Now, a cruiser stern gives you 6, 7, sometimes more feet of space. It gives you a rail around the back that you can sit on, so you have a place to sit. Unlike the trad stern where you're standing most of the time. The cruiser stern also gives you room to socialize. There are new narrowboat builds where they actually put tables out on the cruiser stern. So my dream narrowboat, cruiser stern. My dream narrowboat bow, if I can afford a Joshua bow and it isn't too much of a premium, I think they look pretty tough. What else am I going to want on the exterior of the boat? Well, most narrowboats start off as a base plate of steel that's 10 millimeters thick. And here's some examples of base plates. I got these from some other vloggers. Primarily, it's making a narrowboat with Nanny and Granddad. They are such an inspiration, this couple. They really provided me with some insights as to why you would want to build versus buy a used. And it's an excellent vlog. You might want to check it out. I'll put that vlog name down below, along with some names of other vloggers that have built a narrowboat and their advice. If you want to, for instance, the Silver Foxes. The Silver Foxes did a beautiful series when they first, well, it's not their first vlogging, but when they did their build out of the Silver Fox, they went to Bickerstaff, and they did an excellent job of showing you the building process. But anyway, the base plate's 10 millimeters. There's those two different ones that you saw. And then on the sides of the narrowboat, and here's something from making a narrowboat with Nanny and Granddad, the sides are 6 millimeters, sometimes 8 millimeters thick of steel. Now on top of the gunnel, the cabin itself can be anywhere to 6 to 5 millimeters thick, and then the roofs are normally 4 millimeters thick. For my dream narrowboat, I'm talking 10, 8, 6, 4. Why the 8 on the sides? I want that extra weight. I want to get down. You see, canal boats are flat bottom boats, and it doesn't have a keel. So as a flat bottom boat, they can get pushed around in the wind. Now, in the canals of England, they're beautiful because the canals are shallow. You want that extra. You don't want that depth. You don't want to sink down and hit the bottom. So if you had a keel, that could hurt you out. But a flat bottom boat is ideal for the canals of England. So Joshua bow, cruiser stern. Oh, and what else? I want a Houdini hatch. Let me show you a Houdini hatch. Why? I like sun. I like to have the sun. I'd love to have a skylight basically over my kitchen area. I also want hatches, ideally 2. And I would like one by my Pullman dinette, and I'd like another one by the kitchen. Why? I want to open it up and let the air in. I want the light. I want a nice, light, airy boat. What else? Oh, yeah. And on the roof, I want the taff rails, the rails that you hold on to as you walk down the sides of the boat. And I want solar, and I want the kind of solar that the Foxes have. And this is the photo sheets that you lay down. And you go back and watch the Silver Foxes when they talk about their solar layout. It is excellent, and that's what I want on my dream boat. I also want a gangplank and pole rack on the roof, and you can see that on this shot. And I guess that, and then I'll want an internet antenna, and I don't know what that's going to be. I just want the best I can get, probably maybe even a solar dish. I just don't know for sure what's available in the UK for that. But I'm pretty well laid out now what I want exterior-wise and in the steel on the outside. Let's talk now about engines. I don't really care who makes my engine, because all of the engines, have pros and cons. Lister has one engine, but I want at least 40 plus horsepower. Why? Because when I'm going up the rivers or I'm out in the wash, I want a powerful motor. I also want dual alternators, one to charge my leisure batteries, one to charge the engine battery and the bow thruster battery. By the way, there's another external feature I want. I want a bow thruster on my dream narrowboat. Gas lockers. I want my gas lockers back with me on the cruiser stern. I want them in two separate bins, or maybe one bin, but those bins can then act as seats for passengers who are back there while I'm working in the tiller. What else? We've talked about the motor. I want the motor. We talked about it. I don't want a wood stove, but that's on the inside. Now let's talk the inside. I enter the boat, I want a reverse layout. I want to walk down, and I would love to have a little closet to the left or the right that has a wash basin and a porta potty. Then I want to walk into my gallery. I want to have an L-shaped gallery, or there's some beautiful galleries out there that they're building that are called C-shaped galleys. Beyond the galley, I want to have my Pullman dinette. But I want an extended Pullman. I don't want something where you're just all cramped up like you are in some diners that you go into. I want to be able to stretch and sit back. And of course, I want my hatch cover there. Beyond the dinette, I want to have a wall that has the first bedroom or the first cabin. Then past the cabin, I want to walk through bathroom. And then in the bow, I want my final bedroom. I don't need a big salon, however you pronounce that word. I know they're big deals in almost every narrowboat that I've seen. To me, the salon is the eating area and the gallery. That's the focal point for people to meet. Either there or back on the stern. I don't want a separate room. Now, if I was to live aboard, all year round, I could see why you'd want a saloon, but I'll pass. I'll rather take the extra bedroom. Whew. Well, that lays out my ideal narrowboat. I want, by the way, on toilets, I want a pump out. I don't want to mess with cassettes. Now, I do have a cassette toilet in that little closet as you come down the stairs from the stern. If I could economically make that into a pump out, I would make it a pump out as well. I want a big water tank. I want at least 200 or 300 gallons of water. Diesel, I want a 50 to a 75 gallon diesel tank. What else? Oh, I want a washing machine. That way I don't have to go to the coin laundry. That doesn't sound very appealing to me. TV, I need a TV in both cabins. I'd also like to have one in the saloon. I want USB charging points throughout the boat. I want LED lighting throughout the boat. I want the polyvinyl flooring. We call it Prego flooring here in the States. It's a laminate, and you've got a different name for it, but that's what I want. I don't need real wood. See, I have a pet, and you know my Maggie Border Collie. Her claws will scratch a wood finish, but she won't. She can't hurt the poly. Oh, and I don't like portholes. I don't mind having a porthole in the loo, but I want regular bigger windows with tinted glass, because again, I want light and I want airy. Well deck. I like a nice well deck with a cratch cover. A lot of socializing can go on the well deck. Plus, that's a nice place to, if you have a portable grill, to do grilling. And that's also where I want my water point, is up in the bow. I guess that just about hits it. There is a site out there, by the way, that you can use to design a narrowboat, and I'm going to be doing that next. So I'm going to actually put these things that I've just said to you. That does it for this vlog. If you enjoyed it, please click the like down below and leave any comments, because I know I've probably ruffled some feathers or opened up some ideas, whatever. Please feel free to share those. Click subscribe, click notification, and I hope to see you back for the next vlog. This is Jack Byer saying thanks for watching.